Welcome to the Heartwork podcast, where we delve into stories, struggles, and triumphs of entrepreneurship, leadership, and personal growth. I'm Dr. Sara.
And I'm Dr. Marisa. We're here to guide practitioners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and those just navigating the complexities of life on a journey of discovery that explores the dance between passion and strategy, heart and hustle.
With candid conversations, insightful interviews, and plenty of laughs, get ready to uncover how leading with heart can transform your business and life. Let's dive in. All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Heartwork podcast. So we are going to just quickly talk about some notes that we took from the last conference that we came, and a shout out to Shoshana. She gave us some of this content. We're just going to kind of break it down for what it looks like for us. But obviously she is a genius behind where we got a lot of this from. So just to give her shout out and all the beautiful genius that came from it, but it's all very, very relatable. And not only just for me, but I think just in our industry, especially in chiropractic, there can be this reality of we're wanting to be able to sell our brand and share really who we are. But if you're doing anything in the online space, one of the most beautiful things she talked about is that your story is what people want to know, and your story is what people want to grab onto and really understand and really captivate. And so one of the coolest things that I took away, just as we get into some of just the nitty gritty of it, we all have a message, and that the opportunity is that we get to rise to then lead that message. And that requires you to get out of your own way, to trust that no matter what you're sharing, somebody needs to hear it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be so crystal clear. It doesn't have to be all put together. Sometimes just doing it is the best thing before the perfectionism, identity tries to come in and steal from you. Because I know for me, I tend to be that way. If I'm trying to share anything online, or if I'm trying to put anything on Instagram, social media, not only for my business or my own personal brand, I can get very paralyzed and not want to do something because it's not all perfect, and I don't have the right words in my brain, and putting together content, and I'm I don't know what to say, that type of thing. And one of the thing that she just said was so freaking beautiful, was rise to lead it, because if your life is freaking amazing and you love your life, why not share your life? And I'm my life is so freaking awesome. Why couldn't I just share pieces of that have maybe even nothing to do with chiropractic, but it could tie into the same story of what my life looks like and how that then operates. And so my life at the end of the day is a story, and we all have stories, and that is your copy. If you're thinking about content, that is your copy at the end of the day. And then at the same time, that can become, we were just processing out, that can become your signature offer. That's the part where it's making it something that's brand new. So when we're looking at a brand, it's not something I think about in our area. I am a pediatric prenatal chiropractor, right? There are multiple of us in this area. What makes me stand out? We want lots and lots of people to understand that I am very different than every other person that's less than a mile away, And so creating something that this is the opportunity, that this is brand new opportunity, that it's not something else that somebody else is doing. You're basically creating a space to where you are standing out, whether you have somebody right next door or whether there are 1,000 of the people that do exactly what you do.
I think the cool distinction with that was that don't stop trying to come up with a covert way to inertly compare yourself to others by saying what makes you different. Because I think a lot of sales industries will focus on what makes you different? What's different about your offer? And so, but you don't want to put down other people that are in your industry or in your field. Personally, I don't. I know some people prefer to do that, and that's kind of their shtick. That's how they get their new offers, because they start talking poorly about what everyone else is doing, but not necessarily talking about what they do well. I think the cool distinction was just focus on what you're doing. Stop making it that it has to be different from what someone else is doing, or better or worse than what someone else is doing. Just focus on what it is that you are offering.
Right.
Stop trying to put it in the box as a tier comparison or balance between what someone else is bringing to the table. Literally just share what it is that you're doing in the most present, I'm here, this is what it is, love it or leave it, find you someone else, here for you if you want, just put it out there. And I love the idea of Be the person that's not necessarily focused on manifesting what you want. Be the person that rises and matches the frequency of those that are trying to manifest you. Like, so much we get into our head about, like, well, what's our ideal client, or who do we want to serve, or what do we need to bring to the table to be able to, like, pull that person in, instead of just focusing on being the best, like, version of yourself, providing the best experience, the best service, and that also just naturally drawing in those individuals because of the way that you're showing up and sharing what you do. Not
Mhm.
because there's an intention behind it, not because it's like, well, I need to talk in this way so that it resonates with that specific ideal client, or I need to focus so much on talking this way in this situation because it focuses on that ideal client. Just know who your ideal client is because of what you love, because it's what you love.
Right.
And then speak from what you love, not because you feel like you need to have a certain avatar that, like, is the only person that you're meant to impact, reach, engage, etc. Because then again, you're putting the focus on them versus the focus on just serve from here and trust and know that that will get brought in.
The coolest part about that is then she made this comment about storytelling as an artistry. And I love that so much because it is very, very true. And I feel like for me too, like I've been asking the question, like, what are my little stories that I can share to be able to not necessarily, like draw people in, yes. But at the same time, like it's creating a space to where I can share things that are part of my life that I've learned, that I've created, and also what I'm going through in this present moment. And the coolest part when you share, like Marisa said, like when you're sharing from a place of that present, the things that you love, like it really becomes your art and it becomes what you are creating and sharing to the world. And then it's something that, again, regardless of the outcome or the result, you're just doing it for the sake of sharing what you care about. There was one little section that I would love to just talk you guys through. If you're thinking about a story, this wasn't just like one piece. So, like, there was so much that she talked through. So, this isn't even going to give you a full context. But there was one part where she was asking the question, like, when you are sharing your story, who are you trying to apply this to? Like, also, as you're thinking about it, it's like, who are you trying to apply it to? Where are those individuals going? Why does it matter to them? And at the end of the day, stick to the story that basically is going to help them feel like they want to come into that story themselves. Because you want to also, like, I think about for us, for freedom, we want, like, who are those individuals? I am looking for those mamas that have kiddos that have a lot of struggle, that maybe they're up at 3 a.m. trying to solve every thing for their child, or they're pregnant and they are having so much fear around their birth because they don't have the support system, and they're scrolling Instagram, they're scrolling Facebook, they're looking for answers that they may not have. And so where are they going? They're either gonna come to us, or at the end of the day, they're going to the system that is maybe not gonna support them, or they've been there, they have not gotten all the answers. And why does it matter? Because at the end of the day, that matters, because if they don't find us, if they don't know that they have hope, they're gonna run the same circuit and the same cycle forever and ever and ever, until maybe they come back around and they have something else, right? And so it matters so much if I can be able to speak to that person, share where are they going and how can I come and support and help them. And then why does it matter? Because we're going to freaking change your life. And these are the stories that I'm going to tell you that are going to align with that. These are the stories of my life. These are the stories of our patients' lives. These are the stories of my team members' lives. Like, if we can do that, goodness, because then it really is just this, you're pulling the story, but you're bringing it full circle for who are you trying to attract when it comes to your ideal client. And that's the artistry, like that, at least in my mind, like that's what is so powerful when you can bring it to a place of the art of being able to share what is important to you, but then make it to where it's bringing that person into that story at the same time.
Well, that's where it becomes magnetic, literally magnetic. I mean, our coach Pablo shares this analogy of, like, literally a magnet and three paper clips. So if you are just like a magnet and there's three paper clips around, like, over time, the paper clips will be drawn to the magnet. That magnetic field becomes strong enough. But if the magnet keeps moving, doesn't pick up anything.
Right.
You have to literally move right over it in order for it to pick up the paper clip.
Mm.
So I think that's just a good reminder for us all that sometimes it's okay to be still and just be confident and self-aware and self-confident. And that will draw beautiful life and abundance, your story, all to you. One of the quotes that we heard that might help you, because you hear this and you're like, well, I don't even really know, like, what is my story? Or like you're Sarah and you're like, what do I want to share? What actually sounds good? And you're like, okay, I understand that like I have to share more authentically, or I have to share more from just where it comes from in the depth. But it's like, what's there? What's down there? I don't even know where I would start. I know how I show up now, but I don't even know with what I start with. And there was a really powerful quote that helps me, and maybe it will help you. And it talks about a tree and a tree with roots, and how there are deep roots and wide branches to your tree, but your life can only be as wide than as your spiritual depth. So if that isn't an invitation, if you don't even know what is that story you would share, what is your message, or what do you show up to the table with, it's just another reminder that you only don't know because you are disconnected from your heart and knowing yourself. And the deeper you go with that, the deeper you dive, the more open you become to hearing and understanding and becoming still enough to listen and to hear it, that's when you'll know.
So thank you for joining us on another episode of the Heartwork podcast. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to lead with heart in your business and life.
If you enjoyed this, subscribe so you never miss a release, rate our show, leave us a review, get on our VIP email list, and join our exclusive Facebook group, The Heartwork Life, to plug into our community and learn from us and other heart-led entrepreneurs on a weekly basis.
We look forward to chatting with you next time.
Bye!